Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Xbox Life episode 416 podcast of the year 2016. I am one of your three hosts, Brian BJ Swick 33, and along with me, of course, is two of the greatest guys that you could ever ask to podcast with. And that is Mark Wingman 709
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
and Rob, also known as Presar.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello.
All right. So we are here for our TXL, I guess, game of the year. What we would pick as our favorite games that we played this year. Um, for 2016, it is our last show of the year. We will not be recording next week, but we will be here, back here on the first of the year on 2017. So, which is crazy to think about, right? It's our last show of 2016. So, but we are live every Sunday, twitch.tv/this Xbox Life. We record every Sunday at 10 p.m. That'd be Eastern time. So, but all right, guys, ready to get started? Yay? Nay?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Cool. All right. Well, before we get to what our favorite games we've been playing throughout the year, how about we talk about what we've been recently playing over the past week? And Rob, we'll let you go first.
Sure. All right. I've been playing more of Dishonored 2, just in little doses when I get the time that I can sit down and play. And I apparently
Hey, Rob.
play. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Ron, do you notice?
Little
It's
distortion.
like you're really loud and distorted for some reason tonight.
Yep. A little bit of distortion.
Just Houston, we have a problem.
We do this live.
It was
How
fine.
about
before
now?
we start. No, it's the same. It was fine before we started recording, and then all of a sudden it got really like loud and distorted once we started recording.
Any better now?
I think
I noticed my
Yeah, don't-
sliders got moved in my mixer.
yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah. I was sitting there going like, I'm looking at my knobs on mine, like, what am I doing wrong?
Hey! Don't want to hear about that. Family-friendly show.
Yeah. Watch your knobs.
Oh, very good. That was quick. I like that. That's quick-witted
Yes.
there. Yeah.
All right. Sound good now?
Oh, I think
Yes.
sound great. Sound great.
Much better.
Excellent.
All right, let's start
Beautiful,
over.
man.
Welcome
Of
to
course.
this Xbox Live. Just kidding.
All right, so I played more Dishonored 2 as I get the time to actually sit down and play. And I apparently, there's been a trend that I've noticed with this game, and that every single level, apparently I am extremely lethal. It gives you this, I don't know what you call it. It's like it's like dead center is like 0 for everything, and then like lethal like lethalness is that the plural of it?
Lethality.
Lethal tenaciousness. You have your lethalness in one direction, and I guess like sneaking the other way and so forth. And I am like all the way at the end of like lethal and causing chaos.
Yeah.
Nice.
But actually, this last level, I did kind of get everybody in the level. I walked around and found every bad guy.
Oh, wow.
But I'm still loving the game. Great stuff. Although it is getting that point, because a lot of these games that tend to run a little, that have a lot of gameplay in them, I reach a point where I'm ready for it to end. Did you guys ever get that in
Yeah,
games?
I do that about 3 hours in of every game I play. That's why I never finish.
'Cause I really enjoy the game, but I'm like, man, it's still another level. It's odd. It's really odd. I had this with a lot of titles, like some of the Halo games and
Yeah,
that stuff. But anyway,
the one that jumps out to me that did that to me is a little bit like Dishonored 1, the first one. Like I only have 3 levels left, but I was getting to that point and like how much more, how much more. The game that really jumps out to me that did that to me that I recently know is Tomb Raider,
Oh,
the definitive edition. I was just like, how many more levels do I have to play? Even though I was having a blast, and the thing is like even when I completed it, I went on to the next Tomb Raider game. I went on to the latest one, and I haven't went very much further than I think the Russian base or whatever, just
sure.
because I was burnt out on that first one. It really, did that to me. But so, but
Okay.
yep,
So I played more Dishonored 2, and then I also gave a shot playing Astroneer. So that's a title I've been following for quite some time because it's out on PC and it just got released on Xbox One in preview, or game preview, I think is the official title
okay,
of the program, where the game is very much in alpha, maybe early beta, but you can plop down some money and you can play it. And the last game that I did this for, or at least that I tried early on, was We Happy Few. Is that the
yeah,
name of the game? With
yeah,
the weird Bobby cops.
yeah,
So um, I did not care for that game too much. A lot of it was like I really didn't know what was going on. And I felt the same way with Astroneer because you play this game and it's like you really don't know what's going on. At least maybe I didn't have the inclination to actually search out what I was supposed to do because you sort of hope that they guide you through um, like a little tutorial or at least tell you what you're supposed to do because that's what games do nowadays. They don't pack in a 20-page instruction manual like they used to back in the day. And I kind of struggled through the game a little bit, not really knowing what to do. I mean, some of it was intuitive, but I basically just I stopped the game. I'm like, this, I don't, it's not a lot of fun because I really don't know what I'm doing and I don't know if I'm making progress or if I'm just wasting time. And maybe I'll give it another shot when it finally releases. However, I've been tracking this game waiting for it to be released now for at least probably 6 8 months, which is kind of strange. The game looks pretty interesting in terms of like what you're supposed to do because you're basically landing on some foreign planet and you're doing all sorts of various settling things, you're collecting resources and such. So it looked like it was going to be an interesting game, but at least in this early preview that they had, it kind of fell flat for me. So that was about it for me, I think. And there was something else I was going to mention, but I totally forgot what it was. Maybe I'll remember, and then once you guys finish up, maybe I'll remember what it was, and I'll bring it up.
Yep.
So next.
Mark, why don't you take this one? Take
All
the mic.
right. Hopefully you can't hear all the banging, clashing in the background.
Nope.
That's good. I played 2 games this week. And one I was a little worried about. I talked to Vengeful Loki. He gave me a call and he's like, "Dude, I want to buy a game. There's a couple of games." He's like, "Dishonored 2 is, or no, wouldn't be the second one. I think it was Dishonored. Was $20, and he said the Division was $20.
The definitive edition.
I don't know.
Yeah, Dishonored
Probably.
Definitive Edition.
Probably.
20.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, Division all the way, baby. But I'm like, honestly, I said, I know Rob likes Dishonored. I said, but I've never played it. I can't answer to that. I said, I talked about the Division and stuff, and he ended up buying it. And I'm gonna throw him under the bus a little bit, have a little jab at him, all in good fun, my buddy. So he starts by, I said, go ahead and get to the island. You got to go through the little opening part, and then once you get on the island and Manhattan, then it's like we can join up and I can go through and play the game with you and stuff. And so he spent a long time trying to get to that point, and I'm not going to say how long. I really don't want to embarrass him that much, but it was pretty funny how long it took. So then I was like, you know what? I realized, wait a minute, my guy's like level 30. I'm like gear scored 250. He's a brand new guy. I'm like, this is gonna make. And I remember that this game kind of scales to the highest ranking person, not the person's game.
Right.
So I'm like, holy buckets, you're not going to be able to play. It's going to scale everybody to super high, and you're going to hate this. So I'm going to run through and create a second character, and I'll go in the same level that you are. Well, I got through the opening part in about 15 minutes, maybe.
You are
And,
experienced though as well.
well, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, I was going to get to that. But the whole time he was going through this, we're in a party and I'm playing something else, and he's like kind of starting to lose his patience, and he's getting a little frustrated. And he's like, "This has got to be on a harder level. This must be on like harder. There's no way this is like on normal." And I'm like, I don't recall it having a difficulty setting until you went into the actual missions. I think the open world area is just one setting. It's like normal. And he was really struggling, and I was like, "Oh man!" I said, "I have a feeling I'm going to be sending you $20, and you're going to be sending me a physical disc of the Division that I can give away on the show." Um, and uh, and he couldn't believe it when I said, "Well, I'm now in the helicopter," and he's like, "What? Already?" Because it was a lot faster than he got to that point. And I did. I was like, oh, you got to understand, man. I got a lot of time on this game,
Yep.
so I got the controls down fairly well enough to run through this. So, but we did play for a while. We went through, I think the first mission. We got his base up. Went through the first mission. Then he had to go, and we were going to play again later. And we just haven't. I don't like I've been on Xbox since, but did play the Division as a entry level character again, which was weird because it's like all of a sudden you're dying. You get so used to kind of being able to take stuff, and like, oh yeah, I'm like a noob now. I gotta, I can't just stand out in the middle and tear people up because I don't have the weapons and the skills and all that stuff yet. So, did play a little of that, and it was fun to kind of go back and restart that. And I'll probably continue playing with him as at that character level and working through the missions with him.
Yeah, once
Also,
you get up kind of high, like higher to maybe when I can join you, you should let me know because I don't have time to kick off a new character or anything, but I've been wanting to go back and play that. Like I've done 0 of the extra missions that they put in. I forget what they're called.
okay.
Um
Oh, of the yeah, they're yellow.
yeah.
The incursions.
Yeah, incursions. I haven't done any of those and
I've done one.
yeah, so I mean when you guys get up to that point, you'll have to let me know.
He doesn't game a whole lot anymore, and that I don't know how far we'll get, but we'll definitely. Anytime, Brun, you want to do an incursion, hit me up. I will be happy. We'll find some people to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I also played Dead Rising 4. I have completed the game, so what I'm doing now is I started a second game, and I'm going through, and I'm leveling up every safe house to level 5, so I can buy all the blueprints, so I can find all the collectible stuff that's in every section. And basically, I'm grinding it out. I'm just killing zombies, trying to get those leveled up, then trying to find all the collectibles and stuff in each section. So I've got a lot of hours left of Dead Rising 4 in front of me if I'm going to keep doing this. But so that's what I'm doing with that, and those are the 2 games I played this week. What
Cool.
about it, Ron?
Well, I played 1 round of Battlefield 1. I got the new map or whatever. It was okay. But pretty much a majority of like Saturday I played Titanfall 2. I was just wanted to finish off those last 10 ranks so I could regen. So I hit level 15, I regened, so I'm a regen now. Of course, it is a bummer that I lose everything. Not everything, but you lose a majority, like all the gun. I was just like, I finally unlocked the very last thing, and then it's like, now everything's locked again.
Oh,
So, but it doesn't lock everything, which was nice. Like I can still run my same Titan that I ran the same Titan and pretty much the same weapon through the whole entire first 50 levels. But I can't run AWOL now, which is kind of aggravating, but I don't see it taking me too long to get back up. Because I know when you regen, you start to level faster. It doesn't slow you down. It actually speeds up your levels, if I remember correctly.
In Titanfall, in Titanfall, you did gen up quicker. You gained like an XP bonus every time you genned up.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case in Titanfall 2.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I don't. I was wondering the same thing, and I haven't seen anything that states like you get a bonus or a bump. I just haven't seen it.
I'll have to look at that and see for sure. But I played Titanfall 2 and some Battlefield 1. And then, so, Wing, I know you played this game. I started Uncharted 1. And all I can say is I don't see what the big deal is about this game. It looks like, it doesn't look good. It looks like it's like 10 years old. I mean, because it is almost 10 years old.
It is.
I'm
right.
joking. I'm joking.
I'm sitting
making...
here going, I'm sitting in my mind going, it is 10 years old. What is he talking about?
Yeah, I'm making a joke.
The game is awesome.
Yeah, my buddy let me borrow his PS3 actually because he bought a PS4. And just, I mean, I only probably played about an hour, and I'm liking it. You know, I like Tomb Raider too, so I knew I kind of would like this. I just like the banter, you know, like between Nathan and Scully.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of the stuff's like they kind of had me chuckling a little bit, but you know, so he has the first 3 on his PlayStation 3, so I can play through those. But I actually, this is the first time a PlayStation has been in my house hooked up that I've played since I unhooked my PS2 when I bought my 360. That's 10 years ago, basically. It's been a long time since I've played, you know, a PlayStation itself. So, but yeah, best console ever. Forget you, Xbox. Uncharted 1 for life. I just no. So yeah, that's it. Uncharted 1. What was I going to say? Oh, I'm a little aggravated. I mean, my replacement controller, the controller I have now, which is a replacement to the initial controller I got with my Xbox One, which had the I'm going to constantly move forward, you know, without you touching the controller. I called and I got it. It was replaced for free. My replacement now constantly wants to move forward. So that controller is now doing it. And I know the newer controllers don't have this issue, or like the Elite controller doesn't have this issue. But it's just like, it's such a bummer because it makes it unplayable. Oh, and I played Overwatch. That was the other thing. I was trying to play Overwatch on my console, but I couldn't get the controller from pressing up to where I could select the options in the menu I wanted. It was just zipping through the menu, so I couldn't select anything out of the menu. So I had to come play Overwatch on my PC. But as of right now, it's like I can barely play an Xbox game because my controller just doesn't work. So I tweeted it out, and they wanted me to do a test, make sure it's not a syncing issue, which it's not. But we'll see what happens from here. But I see a new controller in my future. Maybe I can win one from our giveaway. So which I'll mention here in a little bit. So, but that's it. That's all I've been playing. All right. Some quick things. Patreon.com. So if you go to thisxboxlife.com/Patreon, you can sign up to become a patron of the show. If our last patron is, who's our last patron that we?
It's in there. Preston.
Preston. Yes, Preston. Yep. Preston is our most recent Patreon, and he is at the level where I believe he gets to be on the show. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep. So we will have a future guest early in 2017. He will be on the show to hang out with us, and we'll learn all about him. But he signed up and is now a patron of the show.
If he wishes. Can't force the guy to come on.
Well, yes, if he would like to come on.
He has the option now.
Yes. So, but and his gamer tag, isn't it Drano? Isn't Drano the?
Yes, I think you're right. Yes, yeah. That's right. I think it was Drano.
Yeah, because he is also our last person who donated to us. Which, if you go to xbox.com/donate, you can also donate to us, which is more of a one-time thing. So he kind of like double dipped there. I'm not gonna blame you. I don't mind it, but we do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And that was the tip. And now we are in our roundtable. So our roundtable this week.
Time out.
All right.
I gotta say one thing here.
Okay.
I wanna because I just have to talk about this before we jump into our stuff. I'm gonna sidestep and get off Xbox for a moment.
Okay.
Did you guys see Rogue One?
No,
Daddy,
Yes.
I did
Rob
not.
saw it, Brun did not.
I have not.
Rob, we have a great opportunity here. Brun, it's time to get you back, sucker. The Death Star gets blown up.
Oh,
Yeah, what do you
jeez.
think of that?
Why'd you-
Spoiler!
Thanks for
And Darth
ruining
Vader. And Darth Vader is a zombie.
it. So if I'm not
They blow up the Death
mistaken,
Star in episode 4. I spoiled it for you.
is it 4 it gets blown up?
Yeah.
No, does it get blown up at 4? Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember.
It's
if I
not a
got-
real spoiler, but
Right. Yes, because Rogue One is prior to 4, right?
it's episode 3.5 is
yes,
what it
it's
is.
Yeah.
3.5. Okay.
So, but I just wanted to share. We went and saw it Thursday night on opening night, and I remember I was in the theater and I was like sitting there. I'm kind of like, what time is it? And it's been like an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, and I'm just kind of like, how much longer is this?
Oh, really?
I've never felt
That's
that way
such
about a
a
Star
game.
Wars movie.
Hmm.
Yes, I was like an hour and 15 in, and I'm just like, I'm ready for this to be done. This is not so good. And I remember sitting there, kind of like not really happy about it. And I'm just like, okay, it's Star Wars though. You're watching a Star Wars movie. You should be excited by that. Well, that was the last time I looked at my watch.
No. Okay.
From that point on, the rest of the movie was like, oh my gosh, pure Star Wars amazing awesomeness. It was fantastic. And it was just like, because this is a one movie only. This is it. This is a one-time deal. There's, there was a joke on, I think it was the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
Mhm.
And, he said, is there going to be a Rogue One Part 2? And they're like, yeah, that's episode 4, So there is no see. This is just a one-off story. And so they spend a lot of time kind of doing an introduction. And at the very beginning, it was just like bouncing around from here to here to here to here. And I was just like, man, what's going on? But they're trying to introduce a lot of stuff. And I get that. And it was still okay. But it was just like, I just felt like something was missing. And then it was like the last hour was just, it was all awesomeness. So, that's all. I'm not going to spoil anything. But this is not, and anybody doesn't know, this is not episode 8. This is not leading. This isn't taking place after the movie that came out last year. This is episode 3.5 before episode 4, which was the original movie released, was the first movie released. And
which was just called Star Wars, and then it was changed to A New Hope.
New Hope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost think of it like it's a 2-part miniseries. So Rogue One is going to be the miniseries part that you watch Sunday night, and then the Star Wars A New Hope is Monday night.
Yeah. Well, they're supposed to have, so 8 is next year.
Yes.
And then they're supposed to have another one the year after that.
Han Solo. It's Han Solo. Yep.
Yeah. And then they'll have 9.
Right.
And then they have Go ahead.
And the Han Solo one is prior. Again, it's going to be one of these. He's young. It's a young Han Solo.
Right.
It's about him being a all of a sudden I forgot what he was. Not a bounty hunter. He was smuggler. Thank you. So it's about him smuggling. I would imagine what we're going to see in that movie is you're probably going to see like how he got the Millennium Falcon from Lando Calrissian.
Yep.
Why? What did he do with Jabba the Hutt? That he's being hunted down.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to learn like those backstories. But it's a young Han Solo. and it's going to just be kind of like the Adventures of Han Solo type of thing. So it'll have really nothing to do with Luke Skywalker or any of that. It's all, So again, and it's going to be like a one-time. That's kind of the plan. They're doing the main story every other year, and then in between they're doing these like kind of one-off type of things, which I think is cool.
Yeah, me too. I kind of like that.
So
are they going to do one after 9, or is 9 it?
I would imagine they're going to continue it, dude. It's a billion-dollar industry.
Well, I know
it's making bank.
Yeah,
they're going to keep making them until they are no longer profitable.
Which I understand that. I just didn't know because I know they have announced the Han Solo one, and we know there was another trilogy coming, but I didn't hear anything like after 9. Like these ones are filling in those gaps, but
several years down the road. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But anyways, no, I didn't spoil anything. If you thought it was a spoiler, then you don't understand what Rogue One is. So essentially, just in a quicker, because I think, and I was reading something online I guess a lot of people don't know what it is, or they're not paying attention. But in Episode 4, which was the very first movie that was released, that's when Luke goes and he ends up blowing up the Death Star. And if you don't know that I didn't spoil anything because that movie came out 30 years ago, right? So. This is the story about the people that got the Death Star plans. And I'll say this, this movie had a lot more to it than I expected. Mm-hmm. The whole thing about why there was a vulnerability was really cool. They did a great job with this movie. I was really impressed. I really enjoyed it. And I'll tell you what, they took it the way, and Rob, I'm trying to tread lightly here. The final 60 seconds of that movie, I was like not expecting that at all. I wasn't expecting the final 10 seconds. That blew my mind. But to where they took it to, I was not expecting that. And that was so cool in my opinion.
Cool.
That was some pretty good CGI there at the end.
Yes.
for
pretty
that
darn
thing.
Impressive.
Because that it's nothing like that now in real life.
Oh, I know. And we'll have to talk offline, but
yeah,
I was like, yeah. Anyways, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a great movie. So my thought was, if you're not really enjoying the first part, just hang in there. It really kicks butt. The last hour is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and I thought I'd throw out my comments on it as well, since we're talking about it. Now, I'm more of a Star Trek person than a Star Wars person, and I tend to enjoy the Star Trek movies a lot more. I find that a lot of the Star Wars movie are kind of cumbersome, too long, and I get bored halfway through, and I'm just, come on. And I'm glad to get out of the theater at that. And like the previous movie, ran too long. The one that came out like January, February this year.
No, it was December of last year.
Force Awakens?
Force Awakens came out in December.
Yeah.
December.
Okay, yeah. Yep, that's right. So, like, that one just went on forever, but it was okay. This one is probably the best movie out of the last couple. If not, it's probably the best out of the bunch.
I don't know about that.
Because I think that this movie has a lot less of what I would consider, I think, the George Lucas influence, where his movies have this like corniness, that almost like this childish behavior to some of the people. And I mean, it was the most glaring probably in the one with Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, well, yeah. Episodes 1 through 3 had a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean,
that was all George Lucas.
And I mean, I didn't care for any of that. Force Awakens was a step in the right direction. This one is more like a regular, probably like science fiction drama type of movie, and that I appreciated. So, I'm happy with how it turned out. It did get to a point where I think probably right around the same time as what you were saying, Mark, where I was like, man, I mean, it's still just at the point of where it's like wrapping up the first part of the plot line.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their movies, like they're really like two parts, where there's like the first part where everybody kind of just does their thing, they kind of collect everybody, and then like the second third, or the last third, or the last half is where everybody kind of rallies together and they take on their big mission. And it was very evident towards the end of like that first part, where it's like, man, how long has this been? And looking at the watch. And actually, my son and I, we actually saw it today, and we saw it in D-Box seats. Did you guys ever try those?
Huh.
What is that? Never heard of it.
Yeah, me either.
They're these seats that you pay a little bit of a premium, so they're like another $6, $7, $8 higher than the regular seats. But you get this bucket type seat that moves, so it like pivots, and also it's got some kind of like rumble pack in it. So as there's explosions, like the whole chair vibrates when when the spaceships would take off from the ground, for example, and they're flying, the chair would like pivot in the direction that the spacecraft is going. So there's like this added sense of immersion, I guess. So it was interesting, not worth $8.
I can see you trying to take a drink, and all of a sudden, you see the
It's-
jerk to the left. As you're
Yeah, it's
in a
it's
TIE
not
fighter.
that bad. It's not that bad,
That's
but
funny.
yeah, for I can't imagine dropping like $8 a person for an entire family,
Mhm.
Yeah.
to go to this. But it's something interesting to try, maybe by yourself or with one other person. But I don't know if the D-Box is worth it. But it was a nice experience for the Star Wars movie. So it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. I'm pleasantly surprised at how good it was.
Before we
All
get
right.
to our game of the year, I just want to say I saw a funny comic. It was a Star Wars comic, which it basically was stating that for each new Jedi, they have like less and less training. So it like showed Anakin, and he's like, "I am prepared to fight you. I have studied years under the Order, and I am now prepared to fight." And it was like him. And then it showed Luke, and it's like, I trained with 3 days with this little green guy, this old green guy who could barely move. I am ready to fight. And then it showed what's her name from Force Awakens?
Ray.
Rey. It shows hers like, what's this blue lightsaber thingy? I am ready to fight. It's like each one of them has like the training has went from years to days to like, I just picked up a lightsaber and now I'm
It's because
I'm
the
a
Force
Jedi.
is strong in their family.
Yes, yeah. But no, I thought it was funny. But all right. Back to gaming.
All right.
We are this Xbox Live Game of the Year selections 2016. We picked out some categories, and we're going to go through and hopefully not argue too much about it, but I don't see why we would. Our first category, we did action adventure game. Now, I saw in some places where action adventure, they are including like all first person shooters and stuff into this, but we have our own shooter category because we like to keep our separate. But for action adventure games, what do you guys have? I know what Rob's is going to be. I imagine mine would have been Rob's if I played it. So,
Well, why don't we just go in order?
okay.
Like that way we're not going. Who's gonna go first? Every
Yeah, I picked. So with mine, I picked Hitman. So I haven't had super like a large amount of time with it, but
I don't know how you could pick this.
I didn't consider the Division action adventure. I'm trying to think if I should have pinned that one in with this grouping, because then I would change. Because then my best action adventure would be the Division. Because
I had something else in here, and I've been struggling I ended up changing it here just a few minutes ago for reasons I'll say later. But I don't know. Some of these are tough to put in a category. Like
Right.
some
They
people
are.
can say, "Oh, it's a shooter," or "It's an action adventure game," or you might even say, "Well, that's more of an RPG because you're building your character." I'm like, to me, a shooter is first person shooter.
Mm-hmm.
That's just to me. If it's not a first person shooter, if it's a third person, then to me that kind of goes into the category of action adventure. But I suppose I would never consider it. I guess that's not right because I would say Gears of War is a shooter,
Well,
but that's a third person.
I
So
was debating on having Gears of War in there, but I barely played any of it. If we're let me put it this way, if we're gonna put the Division in category to Division in our own minds as an action adventure, then mine's the Division. That would be what I mean. I played that. That would probably be the game that I played the most this year. That would be in that category and would be my favorite out of those. So, and you'll come to see a little bit later down the road, like I kind of have this. There's this thing between me and the Division, but I can explain it when we get there. So, I would pick the Division over Hitman, but the reason why I picked Hitman is because it would be the only other game that I played that was be in this category that I really liked. I've had fun with.
so
So
did you consider the Division a shooter?
I was putting it in the shooter range, but I could see it more as an action adventure.
Yeah, because and that's what I kind of view it more of an action adventure because you got all the stats, you got your character build up, you got
Right.
your abilities, you've got your leveling, you've got I mean, I know you get that in Titanfall and Battlefield, but this one's different because the game and your stats change based on the gear that you're putting on, to a very almost RPG-ish. That's why it's
Right.
almost really you could probably put the Division under RPG
Mm-hmm.
in a way. And I think these are tough because I think a lot of games nowadays really blur the lines. It's almost hard to pin them into a particular category.
Yeah, and I really think that's like in this year. If you go and you look, they never had like a first person shooter category. They had like all shooters and stuff in action adventure, like Battlefield 1 and Titanfall. They're action games, and not just first person shooters. But
Right.
since the Division, so like that would put Gears of War in the Division. I would say since they're not first person shooters, they're more third person action. I
Right.
would put Gears in this category as well, but I would still pick the Division because I barely played any of Gears, even though Gears is a great game. So, or what I've played of it, I've liked. But
And Rob,
Yeah.
because now I'm gonna disagree with yours because I think you got yours in the wrong category.
what would his fall under?
Unless I don't understand what the game is.
No, his fits
Isn't
there.
is
So
is it not
so
isn't yours a first person?
so what I did is I went to a couple of the online sites
Mm-hmm.
and then I looked to see what they classified the game as, and Dishonored 2, which is my choice
What's a stealth action?
for action game of 2016, that one fell under the action category.
Right, it's a stealth action game. I agree.
Yeah.
That it's in
Okay.
that right category.
So I let other people classify my games.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Well, I did too, but I like pulling
So I
out
can
first.
pass the buck.
I do too, but I like pulling out first person shooters. But because I was trying to figure out like how would we split out, like a Battlefield and a Titanfall. Like I was like, well, maybe multiplayer. Competitive multiplayer games is maybe how we should break those out because then that would put Gears and Battlefield and Titanfall and like Overwatch against each other. But I don't know, and it would leave the Division out because I mean, when I say multiplayer, I mean like that's why I said competitive multiplayer. But I don't know. I would change mine from Hitman. I'll give a little honorable mention to Hitman, but mine would be the Division. And then Rob's is Dishonored 2, and Mark, yours is
And I changed this.
Okay.
I had something else in here, but I really I put the Division as my action adventure game of the year. What I did have listed here, I have moved my game of the year, and I'll explain why later. But yeah, so I got the Division in here. So, and a real quick update just to those listening: when and just if you're unaware, when we do our TXL Game of the Year, these are games that each of us have played. So
Right.
we look back at what we have played, and we pick our favorites. So if you're like, how could you not pick, Overwatch, for example, that the BGAs or the awards show or whatever they call it now, that thing run away with everything. Well, if Rob didn't play Overwatch, he's not going to pick it. So these are our TXL picks based on stuff we've actually played.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I did play Overwatch, and you ain't going to see it in my list.
Yeah.
All right. And anyways,
Cool. Next thing is family game. I couldn't really think of one that I played, so I'll let you guys take this one.
Yeah, for me, the family game of 2016 is Lego Anything. The Lego games, doesn't matter what they are. My experience has been that they've all been fantastic. Everything from like old releases like the Marvel superheroes to the Lego movie to I think I don't know if it came out in December or January this year is the Star Wars one, Force Awakens. That's it. Jurassic World. I mean, they've all been phenomenal. So that's a guaranteed great family game, and it's cooperative as well. So
yeah, this was a tough category.
yeah, it was.
Because everything that my kids play or my family plays, none of it was from this year.
Right.
Yes.
Because they're all into Minecraft or they love playing Monopoly from the Hasbro's Family Game Night, but that came out like a year ago. They like playing those.
Yeah, mine was Uno, but it was this year, so.
Yeah, so I put Rock Band 4 in, even though I haven't played this with my family, and I'm the only one. My wife and I are the only ones that have played it. So that's kind of the one I had to pick, but I don't really have anything else. Now my son, I just bought him the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan, I think it's called. It's a new TMNT game, and I thought that'd be good because he loves the turtles. My youngest does. So I bought that, and he loves the game. He's having a blast with it. But I thought that because it's a turtle game and there's 4 turtles, I'm like, this would be great because all 3 of my kids could sit and play couch co-op. And found out, nope, this game doesn't allow you to do that. There's multiplayer, but it's online multiplayer. There's no couch co-op, and I'm like, that really stinks. I wasn't happy about that, so I can't give them family game of the year when you can only play by yourself. So, I had to give it to Rock Band 4.
All right.
But that's stretching it.
Thanks for the follow. Is that Cronus? I'm gonna say Cronus RX. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Our next category, we didn't really have anything. It was for fighting games, so we're just gonna skip over that. Either all of us kind of bailed out on that one.
I didn't play any.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
I didn't
neither.
either. So,
And there's really not that much.
no.
Yeah.
So
we got Killer Instinct
Yeah.
Season 3. I mean, if you want, but even then, we talked about this last week. It's like, well, Season 3, it's like DLC. It's not like a new game that came out this year. So
yeah.
I think the Video Game Awards had that one up, and I'm like, why? That's just DLC. How can you count that as getting in a best game of the year when it was really? They did that with The Witcher 3 DLC. I was like, oh, I got game of the year. They were in the category, but it was DLC. It wasn't the game, so I didn't want to nominate anything here.
Street Fighter 5. That was an exclusive, I believe. All right. Sports game. I had to think back on this one. I'm like, that didn't come out this year, but it did come out this year on console, I believe. And so with mine, I'm picking Rocket League. So the game is awesome. And the updates that they're putting in and the new stuff they're getting ready to do is fantastic.
Yeah, can't argue with that one. That one definitely deserves the title of best sports game. For me, it was a tough choice between that and Forza Horizon 3,
Mm.
and I chose Forza Horizon 3.
For me, I thought initially I was gonna put Forza Horizon 3 on here, and then I remembered Rocket League came out this year, and I gave it to Rocket League mainly because even as good as Forza Horizon 3 was, it pretty much is the same that you've seen in the first two games with a few additional things. And I mean, it looks great, plays great, but Rocket League came out of nowhere for me, and it was just one of those. It's quick. You can just play a few games. It's one of those, and the matches don't run long, and it's super fun. It's like even when you lose, you still have a great time. So I had to give it to Rocket League.
It's the best FNL that we had all year. We had like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and they were a blast. I mean, we had people waiting, to jump in and play, and like some of us were taking breaks, and other people coming in and just like robbing people's goals. I had a blast with that game. That's so much
Yeah.
fun. I may have to reconsider what I picked for game of the year. But again, like to me, I've had Rocket League even the year before, but
Yeah, you do. You need to change that. I can't believe what you have in there.
no.
I'm surprised by what you have there, but okay.
It was a tough. I was between 3 games. I'll explain my 3 games when we get there.
Alrighty.
So, but all right, shooter. This one was a tough one for me. Mine was between Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1. But I decided to go Battlefield 1. I just love. I was a skeptic, let's say, when they announced that they were going to do World War One, and I remember on a show going like, I was like, I don't see how you can go from tanks and helicopters and all this stuff to like trench warfare.
Blimps.
Like I was really to that point, and I was like, I really just don't know how they're going to do that, and but they did it, and I really really like it, and it's such a good game, and so I picked that one over Titanfall 2. Thanks for the follow, Jen. So appreciate it. But what do you guys have? Rob, what do you got? I knew what yours was.
Yeah, for me, it's again, this is kind of a tough one, but I went with Doom, and strictly based off of the fact that it is just nonstop shooting. I mean, it is probably as close as you can get to like one of those Twitch shooting games. Basically, if it moves, you shoot it
Yeah.
with a big old gun and make it blow up. There's a lot of other games that I think are probably deserving of this title as well. Doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that I picked this one because it's my pick.
Mark?
This one was not hard for me.
Yeah.
I did look as I was thinking, oh, Rainbow Six Siege, but that actually came out in 2015. So I was like, okay. But Titanfall 2, without a doubt, was my shooter of the year. No other shooter had me just so excited for it and met my expectations. And, I can go in and play this and I just have a blast. And I also love it because when I go into other shooters, I can just get destroyed. I love that there's AI bots, so I can kill some of those, still contribute to the team, not feel like I'm terrible at it. And this just happens to be one of those shooters I tend to do fairly well. I may not, I'm not always at the top, but I'm not always at the bottom of the pack either. So, and it's just a friggin' blast. I mean, I just love this game. I hope they put Frontier Defense in sometime this year.
That's what I'm waiting for.
I want Horde mode in this game. So we'll see. But I love everything they've been doing with this game so far. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, Titanfall 2, it's crazy because like I got in late at the first Titanfall, and I did one gen. I regened once, but I did that all on Frontier Defense because I was just like I hated this the other competitive multiplayer. I would just get wrecked. I just couldn't get a hang of it or anything like that. Now, of course, like I just regen this weekend, and that's all there is competitive multiplayer. And I even just got my pro tag, which was kind of nice because I guess they get pro tag. You have to come in first like 10 times or something like that.
Yeah.
So I finally got that this weekend, and so like yes, I do good, I do bad. Sometimes it gets frustrating. Sometimes it's just like boy, I killed, and I think having communication's great. But yeah, Titanfall is right up there with me in Battlefield. It's just I think what made me switch mine or get mine to Battlefield was just like the large scale of it. So, but I love stepping on people too, and shooting them out.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting a collection. Like I keep every time I do it, I do an Xbox record that. Xbox record that for everybody. Now your Xbox is recording stuff. Every time I pick a pilot off after an ejection in the air, I'm recording it. I'm gonna have to splice a little video because I got two or three more over the weekend. They just eject out, and I'm like, pow, and I just shoot them right out of the air. It's like nice. But, yeah, so much fun. Okay, next up, RPG game. So I don't have one. The Division, if we put an action adventure, I guess is like we said, it could have been an RPG, but we moved that one up there. I didn't have one. So what do you guys get, Rob? What do you got?
I put in Dark Souls 3.
Oh,
Impossible game to play. Frustrating as can be. If you're a glutton for punishment, it's a really good game.
cool. Mark.
I'm hoping this qualifies. Star Trek Online. It's by the same guys that did Neverwinter.
Mhm.
I think this is classified as an MMORPG. I friggin' love Star Trek Online. Free game too, by the way, people. I highly recommend if you have not played this and you like Star Trek, check it out. So, loved it.
RTS game. So I only played one RTS game this year. I didn't play a lot of it, so I guess by default, XCOM 2 would be my RTS game of the year. But I decided I changed it and didn't put one in. I put NA because I didn't feel like I played it enough to make a good decision on it. But so that's where I'm at. But Rob picked a good one.
Yeah, for me, this game came out I think right around January-ish, and it was a follow-up to a PC game of a similar title, and that's This War of Mine. The console version was called Little Ones, and it's a game that pits you in this environment where there's a war going on, and you're a civilian trying to survive, and it makes you make some hard decisions if you get into the ambience and if you get into the game. It's I don't say like disturbing, but
Yeah, it is.
it makes you look at the side of yourself that you're like, oh, I don't know, I had it in me.
Yeah.
So yeah, This War of Mine, Little Ones.
Little Ones is actually that's the yes, the console version, but that's the latest version that was on PC as well. It was like
Yeah.
an expansion, and what they did, I think the expansion was like $2 or something like that, and I think
Mhm.
$1 of it went to children of war torn countries or something like that. They did something for it, so it was pretty cool. All right, Mark, what you got?
I picked XCOM 2.
All right.
I really enjoyed it. It's a little hard. I think they made it a little too challenging, even on the easiest difficulty. And I really wanted to finish, and I got to the point where I had lost all my people, and I've got nothing but rookies, and there's no way I can play going forward. So I'm gonna have to basically restart an entire new game. And I just don't. I haven't had the desire to restart, but it's a fantastic game, and I'm hoping this year during maybe this winter break, and all this, we have hopefully a slump that I can go back and redo this and put some more time into it. But XCOM 2 is a lot of fun.
Cool. All right, so game of the year. right.
Ta-da!
Dun, da, da, da. So for my game of the year, I'm gonna say what it is, and I'll give you an explanation of what you're saying. My game of the year is Overwatch. And I will
Sell
say
out.
I was between Overwatch, Titanfall 2, and The Division. And I really think if I would have finished the single player of Titanfall 2, maybe that one would have been picked over Overwatch. And then with The Division, I played it a lot this year at the beginning of the year, and I really really liked it. But there's the thing, next category, you'll find out. I picked Overwatch, and the reason why Overwatch came down to it was I bought this game on both PC and console, and I played the crap out of it on both PC and console. I like the strategy. I like that it's quick, it's simple. Just there's just a bunch of things that can happen, and I even played, like I said, I was playing it today. The Christmas event, they're doing a Christmas event now. The Halloween event that they did in October. It's a good game, and it's Blizzard, and you know how they are. They're just a great developer. But that's why. Ooh, fire whistle. I'll turn off my thing while you guys are talking. But I picked.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. I picked Overwatch. So main reason, it just got me to want this game on every platform I could get it on. So, but what about you, Rob?
I
Yeah,
think
for
this is
me-
gonna be a stretch, huh? Is this
Yeah,
hard? Is this hard for anyone to figure out?
Yeah.
No.
Survey says. Now, for me, game of the year is definitely Dishonored 2. And that actually kind of surprised me because I figured it was going to be Tomb Raider. And Tomb Raider's a great game. This just unseated it. Just because I love the environment. It's a little steampunky. It's got some cool powers in there. And it's a blast. Love the game. Love the game. So Dishonored 2, Game of the Year 2016 for me.
All right. So for me, this is the one I actually just changed an hour ago. I had The Division in here, and I had Watch Dogs 2 as my action adventure game. And I just, I thought about those two, and I couldn't. I'm like, you know what? I got to change this. And Watch Dogs 2 is my game of the year. And the reason why I think I have to come down to, I want to justify why. The Division, I've played a lot. I've had a lot of great fun in it. I like the 4-player people, co-op, and you can do the missions together, which is great. But there was a lot of technical issues. There was a lot of breakage. There was a lot of glitches. There was a lot of, we're going to ban you for doing stuff that's in our game. I think the game lived up to the hype, but there was a lot of technical problems with the game. And it's, this game's been out for a year, and they're behind on the DLC they promised. I bought a season pass, and I haven't gotten all my stuff because they've been delayed due to all the technical issues. And I really don't think that deserves Game of the Year when it's been flooded with those. Watch Dogs 2, I liked the original game. This game far exceeded the original game. It did launch with some technical glitches, but what they did was they turned off the, what do they call that? Where someone can come into your game and hack you and do all that. They shut all that off so you could still play. It was like within I think it was within 2 weeks, all that was fixed. And it's like I launched it one day and everything was resolved. And the game is run great. I haven't had any technical issues with Watch Dogs 2. It was a tremendous amount of fun. I was able to 1K the whole game. And it was just a blast. And I want more. It's like I want more stuff. I'm probably going to buy the season pass, but I want to kind of see what the stuff's going to come out and how long it is. But I had an absolute blast with Watch Dogs 2. And I looked at everything I played, and I'm like, you know what? Even the stuff at the beginning of the year that had my attention, I think this one just had me excited and thrilled. And I didn't want this one to end. I didn't hit that part where it's like, oh, I got to grind out 3 more levels to finish this game. This one, I was like avoiding the final mission, trying to do everything else I could because I didn't want it to end. how often do you find a game that does that? And Watch Dogs 2 did that for me, so they get my game of the year vote.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I had an idea, dude. I'm battling out with Noob Face Games in the chat here. He's saying spamming no on my Overwatch game of the year. So I had to say, I said, well, it's better than Rainbow Six Siege, and he's like, I knew you would say that. I'm just kidding. But cool. I like that all three of us picked something different. There's a lot of good games this year. I really do.
Yeah.
Think there was.
There was also some disappointments.
There is, and so let's go into biggest disappointments of 2016. And I love-hate relationship. I picked the biggest disappointment as The Division. So I love that game. It is my best action adventure. My disappointment that comes into it is leading up to the game, I was so excited because this genre of game, like a Destiny and a Division, like I want it to be successful, and another game that is going to be something like this is coming out next year, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But I wanted this game to be so successful, and I had my hopes up for it so much. I think that's why I'm a little disappointed. So it's not that the game did it or anything. I think it was myself being so hyped on it. But Mark pointed out the glitches, the issues. They're behind some stuff. I really think if they didn't have those glitches, the Dark Zone, like those glitches, like the reason why I haven't done an incursion is because it took so long to come out with one.
And then to fix them.
And then they're banning people for doing certain things in there. And then it's like, the gear score, they switch the gear score stuff like after the fact, which I'm okay with. And actually I have the Division Year 1 as my biggest disappointment, because I think it could be just like Destiny, that, once they get things going and a year 2 pops out, like they have a chance of being successful still. Like even right now. They just got to get those people pulled back in. Like they got to figure out that thing that's going to grab everybody and pull them back in. But that's what I picked for my biggest disappointment. So
for me, biggest disappointment it's probably Recore, just because the trailers that we saw when they first teased the game, it looked interesting. You had this, little girl, these robots that were fighting with the orbs. And when it came time, the game came out, I don't know, it just was just kind of like a funky little shooting game. The graphics looked nice, and just the gameplay was not all that appealing to me. And so that's my big disappointment for the year. Actually, I think it's a disappointment for a lot of people.
I think that's a good pick, Rob.
Yeah.
I've been playing it recently. I actually tried out the trial. They released it as a free option, and
yeah,
of course, they popped a few achievements right in that time trial. So, I have to buy it. But I actually enjoyed it. I do kind of enjoy the game. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
But one thing I would agree with you. I remember back in the trailers, it was like she had this dog, and then she changed its core, and it became like a bigger robot, and then it changed the orb again, it became this bigger thing, and that's not what this game is. Like, you have a dog that you can alter, but he doesn't change in anything else. You get other robotic characters that go around with you, and you can switch back and forth. So I was like, wait a minute, you're not building this guy up. You level these up individually, but they don't change like they showed it to be in the trailer. So yeah, it seemed like I think the game was sold as something other than what it really is. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, it's really hard to figure out where to go in this game, because I hit a point where I was going through, it's like, oh, you need more of these, what are they called? Some kind of orbs or shards or something. I need some more of these things. And I'm like, prismatic orbs. I think that's what it is. I need more of these to get to the next area. But it's like, you look, the map that comes up is like so hard to figure out how to go, where to go. It's really done poorly. So I'm absolutely with both you guys on your decisions um, for disappointments. But I threw two games in here. One was Battleborn, which came out like a week before
Oh,
Overwatch,
yeah.
and I mean I like Gearbox. I like love of um, Borderlands. I was
Hmm.
like, what game is that? You know, this is very Borderlands ish, and it's very Borderlands ish. It's So one of the disappointments I had was when I first started playing it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a rip off. It's like they took Borderlands and just kind of made another game with all these same assets. I mean, even the HUDs and the maps and everything is like identical from Borderlands, and I was like, that really disappointed me. It was like this isn't like a new game. They took assets from another one and tried to sell it as something new, and I really didn't like that. And the game never, no one got into it. It was fun, but it was like the missions were really long. You had to sit down and commit to one whole single player mission. Some of them took several hours to complete, and it didn't live up to what I was hoping it could have been. Uh, and then the other one was Quantum Break. This was a game I've been excited about, looking forward to playing for several years. Kept getting delayed. Then it came out, and as I was playing, it's like I felt, for me, and I'm an idiot, I'll admit that, but for me, it's like the game didn't explain the powers. Like I I felt like as you were going and gaining stuff, it was like people are like, oh, well, you need to do this, and I'm like, oh, I can do that. Well, how come the game never told me that I could do that, or this is how to, I felt like the training or teaching you how to use your powers wasn't there. It was very uh, not helpful enough, and the game I thought was super boring. I actually quit. I think
Hmm.
I only got to like the third chapter and I quit. I'm like, this is not even interesting. Uh, so those two were I had to put both of them down as biggest disappointment.
Yeah, I agree with you on Battleborn, and Battleborn, they came out a couple weeks after Overwatch, and just got kind of trounced and and stuff like that. But Quantum Break, I don't disagree with you with Quantum Break kind of being a disappointment. I can see how a lot of people would feel that way. Um, I liked the story that they were trying to tell. Um, but with I think what happened is with it being delayed and delayed and delayed, it was just like it needed another delay, but they didn't want to do it, so they just released the way it was. Because yes, I remember them being like a quick, like what it was is the tutorial for your new power was a part of a mission that they kind of were forcing you to use your new power. But then once you got your new powers, you still really only used like two of them. So, and it was like one of the first ones you got, like during the game, you would do that. Um, but I just kind of wish it would have been a little bit, they took more time to do what they wanted to do because I think they really had something there. But yeah,
Took more time. It took way too much, I think, as it was.
well, and the funny thing is Recore, Battleborn, and Quantum Break. Look, and Division, if you want to put it like all four of the games we mentioned for disappointments were all games that were announced and delayed and delayed and delayed. You know
Yeah,
what
true.
would happen? Don't announce something until it's ready, and then you wouldn't be a disappointment. But that's you know
Hmm.
we'll pick our next thing, and let's just hope it doesn't happen with at least what my most anticipated games are. But
Oh,
so most anticipated next thing for 2017. So I picked Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's supposed to come out early 2017. I'm pumped as long as I don't have to ever watch or listen to those people demo it again at E3 because they were horrible. their little their scripted thing that they did was just ridiculously horrible. Um,
March 7th, baby.
March
March
7th. I hope it doesn't get delayed
Hey,
because
yeah,
this is what I was saying about the disappointment was we've seen the game. It's only been delayed once.
and it's already had 2 beta releases already. There was a closed one, but it was for the PC. I was invited to it, but I didn't. I'm not going to play on a PC.
Hmm.
And they just had another one recently, but again, it looked like it was PC only. But so they've been beta testing it already. So I
Right.
think if they're at that stage, and hopefully this March timeframe will hold up.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that because I know it's something that it's going to be division like, but I don't know. I'm excited for it. I have 2 honorable mentions. Halo Wars 2, of course. That would be my, I'm looking forward to on RTS. And Mass Effect. But if you look, Mass Effect, another game announced, delayed. Halo Wars 2's been delayed 1 time. It's just it seems to be this theme, and hopefully these 3 games are not in the biggest disappointment of 2017 when we come around doing this
Oh,
next
good
year.
point.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, look at that, all delays, all early announcements, and it seems like you can only announce something 10 years ago and come out with it now and have it be awesome if you're only a one certain company. But yeah. All right, Rob.
So for me, probably so I actually struggled with this list.
Mobile Strike 2, right?
Yeah, Clash Royale.
Clash
2.
Royale 2. That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Man.
That's the one you play.
Yeah. So
the search for more money.
more money. So
Double the
yeah,
Royale.
Royale Maximus.
Yep.
But yeah, I struggled with this one quite a bit just because there's been so many good games that came out this year that I really couldn't think of anything that I was like really looking forward to. There are some good games, but nothing that really like makes me think like, hey, I can't wait for that game to come out. Because like this year I had Dishonored, I had Forza Horizon, I had Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I kind of looked at the list of the games that we had announced that were coming out supposedly in 2017. And I kind of looked for games that maybe had something familiar that was fun or something different. So like a new take on a game. And my most anticipated would probably be Sea of Thieves, just because it's something different. It looks interesting, looks new. I have no idea how well it's going to play. In thinking of the game, I'm kind of like looking to disappointment, I think, because I think it'll be something that I won't like and I won't play, but it's definitely interesting. Honorable mentions, I have Halo Wars 2. That's probably outside of Sea of Thieves, probably my most anticipated game. And then another game that I'm kind of looking at in terms of like just hoping it's going to be good is For Honor. And that one, I'm kind of hoping it'll rekindle the fun that I had with Rise, Son of Rome.
That's what I was sitting there. I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I've been watching some of that. It looks interesting. So.
Yeah, and Rise, Son of Rome to me was something different. I had never played a game kind of like that, like that gladiator, centurion type of role. And I wouldn't have thought that I would have liked it, but it was a lot of fun. Even though it wasn't as big of a game as one would hope. So we'll see how this one goes.
Red Dead 2 is next year, right?
Supposedly.
November-ish?
Yeah.
I forgot about that one, but all right. Cool. Mark?
This was really hard for me to pick out. This honestly was probably the hardest one to do. I went with Ghost Recon Wildlands, and I also and the other 2 games I struggled with for this was Crackdown 3 and Mass Effect Andromeda. Um, I love Mass Effect. I loved Crackdown. Ghost Recon has been one of those that some of them I have loved and some of them I have hated. So it's kind of like, with Mass Effect, I know I'm going to love the game, but is it going to make it out this year? I don't really know. Crackdown 3 has been delayed. Now they're promising holiday 2017,
It's coming with Scorpio.
But they also said holiday 2016. They also said, early 2016. So they promised us release dates several times. Ghost Recon Wildlands has a date. I feel it, even if it slips, it will come out next year. But so what I did is I looked at all three of these and I'm like, okay, which one do I really want the most? And I think Crackdown 3 is going to be more of what we've had previous, which is awesome. But I don't really necessarily see that there's going to add anything new other than like their cloud stuff. Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be a great story with a whole new cast. And, there's no doubt it's going to be an amazing game. But I think I'm most excited about Ghost Recon Wildlands because, and I'm worried, and I have a feeling that this game's going to end up in my biggest disappointments of 2017 because I want this game to be GRAW 2 co-op DLC.
That's what it's going to be.
If that's what it is, then this will be probably my game of the year for 2017.
Yeah, I'm excited.
If it's not, if this turns out to not be and not give me that enjoyment we had with GRAW 2 co-op, those amazing fun missions we had, we were doing FNLs all the time. If I want that GRAW 2 experience again, I want that love of that game and the working together as a team to do stuff. That's what I'm praying and hoping this game is. Yeah. And if it is, awesome. Yep. Now Division lived up to what I wanted it to be. I'm hoping I can get it twice. Hope I'm not asking too much, but if this is what I want and if it turns out to be what I hope it will be, this to me I will have probably more fun with this than the other two games. And that's why I had to go with this one as my most anticipated.
Yeah, we've been saying it since we started podcasting 8 years ago. Well, even when we were on the previous pod, when it was the Xbox podcast, like that's what 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago. One of my first game for a 360 was GRAW 2, and I remember asking you and Kyle like, "Hey, what game should I get?" And you guys were like, "Get GRAW 2." So we get GRAW 2 and the Hour to Finn and stuff. And I remember us just talking about it and being like, the game they need to release is basically the co-op missions. Like, if you could build a game that was just co-op missions and just keep releasing mission after mission after mission after mission.
Yes.
I was like, that is the game I want. Yes. And I believe that's what Wildlands is going to be. And I'm right with you. If it's not, I'm driving to Canada and beating some developers, okay?
Dude, I'm gonna fly to Ohio and join you in the car. And we'll meet Carmine up there because I know he's big into this. So yeah. We'll all get together. He'll get us across the border. He's Canadian.
Yeah. So and the Division and Destiny and like I said, the reason why I was so hopeful for the Division is games like that, games like Ghost Recon Wildlands are games that I want to keep coming out. I don't want to just deal with first-person shooters and like Battlefield after Battlefield after Battlefield. I like these things where you have to go in, you got to plan, you got to work together.
And it's different.
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, I'm so bored with shooters.
Right. I'm really getting to that point too. I mean, I really am. So,
yeah.
I mean, I know Overwatch is a shooter, but I don't know what it was about that game. Maybe it was just the small little...
I think it was the quick.
Thing. Yeah, quick games.
I still don't know. I was going to tell you this. I don't know how you picked that as game of the year when it had no campaign, it was online only, and it only had 2 game modes.
It was the most fun I had all year.
And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And that's honest. That's the honest answer. I mean, that's really the only way I can say it is like, man, I played it so much like on the PC and on the console, and like I haven't done that with very many games, like to have to buy it twice and. Yeah, it was just the most fun I had, so. But yeah, cool. And that was our last. Topic there, or last category. So cool.
Good year, man.
Yeah, I really did. I enjoyed 2016. Yeah. I'm looking forward to 2018. Sorry,
When the next game
2017.
comes out.
So yeah,
That was a slip.
Yeah, my bad.
He was thinking of the PS4 for a moment. When their next game releases.
Yeah, with Crackdown, I can see them holding that until being a launch title with Scorpio.
Yeah,
not Scorpio.
Crackdown is not that big of a name.
Not Scorpio only, though. I'm not saying it's Scorpio only. I'm just saying. Well, I think they're just going to be around the same time frame. You know what I mean? So I think they'll use Crackdown to kind of show things off, because I don't think a Halo's coming next year. I know people might want it, but I don't think a Halo's coming next year.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Your most anticipated for 2017, Halo Wars 2.
Well, sorry. I mean, Halo proper. Halo.
You
proper.
Said a Halo game. I know what you meant. I'm.
So. But yeah, cool. All right, community time. If you go to thisxboxlife.com, there is a plethora. You like that? Plethora of things to do. You can click on contact, fill out a form. It'll send us an email with your question or comment. We'll read it off in the show. You can also email us directly using whatever your favorite email service is. contact@thisxboxlife.com. To get to our Facebook group, it is thisxboxlife.com/Facebook. To get to Twitter, it's thisxboxlife.com/Twitter. And to send a voicemail, you go to thisxboxlife.com. Click on send voicemail on the right-hand side. Follow the prompts. We'll get you. We'll put you in the show. And you can hear your voice on there, and we'll answer it and say thank you and how, appreciate how much you think, how awesome we are. But all those things you can do. So we don't have any voicemails. We got a couple emails we're going to rattle off. But before we get to that, FNL, like somebody was asking about an FNL this week. We did not get to one. Do we want to try this? Well, it's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. So just try to catch us when we're online. I will say, if people want to schedule an FNL, the coolest thing that you can do now, do it in the club. Somebody did a couple clubs saying, hey, this Saturday, 8 o'clock, looking for 5 people. I went in and joined on and played Titanfall. It was a great time. So, utilize that if you're part of our club. If you're not, go out there.
That's on Xbox. That's on your Xbox.
Yep.
The Xbox Live clubs.
Yep. So, and also TXL giveaway for our Christmas giveaway. We are giving away a Xbox One Elite wireless controller. Looks like about 159 people have entered already. It ends in 7 days. So this time next week is going to be it. It's going to be closed. We're going to pick our winner, and we're going to ship that out. So, and
Are
Rob,
we picking it on Christmas Day? Does it end on Christmas Day?
It ends at 11:59:59 on Christmas
December
Day. 25th.
Okay.
Yep. PM.
Okay, so
Eastern time, I believe.
So we're going to announce in our Facebook group on the 26th, or are we going to wait till the New Year's show?
We'll announce it as soon as we can announce it, and we'll
Okay.
mention it in our show. Yeah, right. No need to make people wait. That's
Facebook,
kind of...
Twitter. Check us out on the 26th. Then we'll announce it.
Yep. So
cool.
All right. And if you don't know where that the link to it, you can see it on our Twitch comments or Twitch chat. I'll put it in there right now. And for everybody who's listening and you're not watching us live on Twitch right now, just go to our Twitter. So twitter.com/thisxboxlife or thisxboxlife.com/Twitter. And it's pinned at the very top. But all right.
And I'll bump it in the Facebook group.
Yep. What last week to bump. So emails. We got 2 of them.
Okay, got a couple of them. First one is from Nautilus Maximus. I noticed that the Forza Horizon 3 Blizzard Mountain Pack marketing material described the mountain as alpine. So that apparently answers everybody's questions about the heavy snow and blizzards in Australia. They just moved Switzerland or maybe Austria to Australia. and the Alpine countries would fit with plenty of room left over, but oh, the expense of moving them.
That's funny.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Good one, Nadius.
Yes.
No, definitely. And next one is from uh, I would tack 1T Assassin. I don't know if that Tacit
Acid.
Assassin. Yeah. Writes in, I just rediscovered Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Coincidentally, I recently discovered your podcast. After listening to a couple podcasts, I wanted to get your take on Witcher. Was there a podcast where you did an initial reaction to the game? Also, was there a reason it received the shaft in your 2015 awards podcast, number 369? Thanks.
I think this would be
So-
easy. Did any of us play The Witcher?
No.
I bought it while it was on sale.
Yeah. So
I have not played it.
yeah. Real quick,
Yeah.
we explained this as we were going through our things.
Yeah.
We only pick things that we played. So
Right.
the reason why I mean, nothing against The Witcher, it was probably a fantastic game, but none of us actually played it to be able to vote for it. So,
Right.
yeah, instead of
Yeah.
just picking, because if you just pick something, are you picking because other people picked it, or so that's why we just pick things that we play.
Yeah.
So hopefully
And
that
that's why we
answers.
each do. Yeah, and that's why we each do our individual picks
Right.
too.
Right.
Because, like Ron, you might have played The Witcher. I didn't, and if Rob didn't, then we can't say, well, TXL picks this game.
Yeah.
That's why we don't fight. We just say, here's our personal likes of the year.
Right.
Easier.
So, hope that
And
answers
you know-
your question.
Yeah, and one thing I also wanted to add that I think is really cool about the games that we pick for our awards and such is I think all three of us have different tastes in gaming, so you get kind of like a wide spread, versus some shows or some folks where you get a couple people and they all think the same and they're just going, oh yeah, me too, I like that game. So I think that we get a wider spread of games that we pick too. Unfortunately, because we're kind of doing this for fun on the side, at least the podcast part of it, and actually even the gaming, is that we just don't have the time to play all these games. And like Witcher 3
Or the money.
is a huge time sink. I mean, not in a bad way. I mean, that game has a lot of stuff to it, and everything I've heard is like it's an amazing game. Unfortunately, I haven't had the time to even like sit down with it, even though I've had it. I think I picked it up on the Christmas sale last year, and I still haven't had a chance to boot it up yet.
Oh,
Speaking of which, isn't there going to be a Christmas sale this year? That's disappointing. Usually they would have teased it by now.
I don't know. We'll look while
It's a
you
week
rattle
away.
off what's coming out this week.
Okay. We doing retail releases already?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So this week for Xbox One, we have Shantae Half Genie Hero, then Subject 13, Crypt of the Serpent King, and Momonga Pinball Adventures. Yeah. And Xbox 360 has nothing.
Can we remove 360 from our list now? Because I really don't think they're putting out any more games.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe it's about
So,
time.
Yeah, if you'd like to know what is coming out this week on 360 games, you may have to look it up on your own.
Yeah.
They haven't put anything out in quite a while.
Yeah. It's
And we're
only
going
been,
into year 4, man. We're
Yeah.
on officially year 4 of the Xbox One. It's
Yeah.
time to upgrade, people.
that's so sad to see it removed.
I know the 360 was
Yeah.
such an amazing machine, but
Yep.
and the thing is, what 10 years old now?
Mhm.
Didn't it just have 10 years
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 came out in 2006.
in November?
Yep.
All right.
It's a beast of a machine. I'll say that.
Oh, definitely. Will forever live on, this generation at least, with backwards compatibility. So Games with Gold just had a Switch. When was it? Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday. Thursday or Friday. And
Friday.
yeah, right now for Xbox One, you can get Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. That came out at the beginning of the month. You still have 2 more weeks to get it. And new on the scene on the 16th is Outlast. And for Xbox 360, queued up on the 16th is Burnout Paradise for backwards compatibility. And of course, backwards compatibility means that it is playable on your Xbox One. So make sure to grab both of them. And they both do show up on the Games with Gold section of your Xbox One. Hey, did you guys notice now that when you get these Games with Gold games, it doesn't go through the whole buying thing anymore? It just says get.
Right, because you got to launch it like in a separate store.
Right.
It's like going to the it's like I think it connects you with the Xbox 360 Xbox Live
Well,
service in store.
Well, I'm talking even about the Xbox One game. So, for example, when I grabbed Outlast, it didn't have like buy free and then it makes you click through the whole credit card purchase piece, but it's free. Now it just goes get.
Yeah, it knows you're a gold member.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that out. I was kind of bummed.
You think?
Oh yeah, I don't know, but I was kind of bummed about the Burnout Paradise because it does not include the island with it.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping it was like the full game and the all the DLC, but it's not. But that's okay.
But if you have the island, wouldn't it show up? I haven't checked.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
It should.
So I think the only way that it would have shown up is if they gave away, like, let's say, like a Game of the Year edition.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Alrighty. And then lastly, do you want to add that if there's anything you're going to be purchasing on Amazon, and you would like to wonder, how can I make my purchases on Amazon and support the good folks over at This Xbox Life podcast? Well, here's the answer for you. Make sure to use our affiliate link each and every time that you make your purchases on Amazon. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but your purchase helps the show out by giving us a little teeny tiny little finder's fee for you sending you their way. If you use our affiliate link, you can find that affiliate link at thisxboxlife.com. Just go to our homepage and then click on the big Amazon logo on the right-hand side, or alternatively, you can go to thisxboxlife.com/Amazon. It'll take you there with our affiliate link. And make sure to do that each and every time you make your purchase, because every purchase it resets. Or if you go to another site, it'll overwrite our little cookie that gets sent to them. And if you are on iTunes, another way that you can support the show is by finding the show, give us a 5-star rating and a little review. Tell everybody how much you enjoy the podcast and the community. And the more reviews, more 5-star reviews that we get, the better chance we get of being a featured podcast on the iTunes store. And that's about it. Do you guys have anything to add before we wrap it up?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. If you're, have fun with family, be careful, enjoy your time.
Yeah. Actually, Happy New Year also, because
I
think the majority of folks won't hear the next show until after the New Year.
Yep. Well, yeah, we're not recording until the 1st, so that is definitely true. So, yep. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and that's all I got. Mark, anything?
Just thanks again, everybody, for a fantastic year. Appreciate everybody supporting us. Hope Merry Christmas to everybody, all your family, and have a great, safe holiday.
Yep.
Next year.
Yep. All right. I'm Brun BJ Swick 33.
I'm Rob, also known as Presar. Thanks for listening, everybody.
I'm Mark AK Wingman 709. Taking off.